Pokemon Legends Arceus is the game that Pokemon fans have been asking for years, and that's why everyone on Twitter hates it already. But that won't stop me from being excited for the game. In the lead up to the Pokemon Presents today, I've been thinking a lot about how to make this game as good as possible. I think I came to something that'll 100% never happen, but I've spent too much time thinking about it not to curse you with this knowledge. So come and share my delusion for a little while. I mean, if I was being entirely realistic, I'd expect for the game to progress in a relatively uninteresting manner with occasional frame drops and jittery Pokemon to remain in the final product, but that's no fun, is it? So, like and subscribe if you want more content like this, let's go. If there was one mission statement I could give to this whole game to make it as good as it can be, it would be to make Pokemon feel alive. Like your friend, like an animal, like your partner, like a natural wonder. We're trying to bring back that magic you felt when Pokemon was first introduced to you as a concept, and you feel like these creatures really lived in a world that you very much wish you could live in yourself. I mean, let's be honest, we kinda wanna live in it right now. The main ways I would attempt to achieve this would be by making the hunt for Pokemon as dynamic as possible and through expanding the bond a trainer and Pokemon can have. Before we talk about childhood whimsy, let's talk about business. That being the game's framework. You can't build a house without a foundation, and you can't build a game of the scale I'm imagining without a framework to build it around. So first, let's talk about this game's limitations. There is no Pokemon League in this game. This seems like a limitation, but it can serve as a strength. There's no time going to gym design or even to multiple trainer classes, as we haven't even seen one trainer in these games so far. Secondly, the game I'm imagining has a huge scale, so to accommodate it we need a significantly reduced Pokedex. I would say at the largest, I could give it 120 Pokemon. More could be added through DLC, but 120 is plenty at launch. And that's it, there's no transferring into this game. Wait, I see your pitchforks, and I raise you quality of life improvements? You'll see. You'll notice that some of my changes actually take some control away from the player, and you might think that's bad, because less control equal bad game. But that's not necessarily true. Too much control can actually make a game not as fun. Let's take Mario for instance. In Super Mario Bros. 3, you can fly, and just get to the end of the level by holding right. Now this is fun the first time you do it, but once you keep doing it over and over, it becomes much less fun to play through the levels like this. There has to be a good balance between what you can do and what the game tells you can't do. And this game is going to be incredibly open world, which gives you a lot of control to begin with. Some rules to fence you in are helpful. Okay, now to the structure. Every game has had the same structure pretty much. Beat all 8 gyms and beat the Elite 4 and Champion. I mean, Alola kinda broke away, but did it really, dude? Did it really? Well, it kinda did, but did it really, dude? No! And that's why this is gonna be better. Everyone is imagining how hot 1800 Cynthia is, and maybe I am too, but we can think bigger. We could still have a great game without using the checkpoint system the Pokemon games have been tethered to for 25 years. This game's goal will be something entirely new to the Pokemon series. As it's already been announced, the goal is to create the Sinnoh region's first Pokedex, which is usually just an afterthought and not the main goal. Realistically though, just catching all these Pokemon wouldn't create the dex. You would need to sit and observe the Pokemon's behavior. The way you'd progress in this game is by gathering data entries. Let's say there are 5 big areas. Get 20 entries in the first area, 40 in the next, 60 in the next, and so on. There's a town around each area, and the villagers can give you tips about where Pokemon can be found, or you can just journey out on your own to try to find them. You then have to send back the data on what you found to the professor. Let's call him Professor Treeferson, in the original village. However, there's a twist to this. You, the player, have health too. You ain't rolling in this game for nothing, man. You gotta get away. That means getting the entries can be more risky for dangerous Pokemon, and if your health at 0, you white out, resulting in a game over. This is not only bad in that you can't get the data entry you were trying to get, but you also lose all data entries you haven't turned in yet to Professor Treeferson. This game autosaves, which means you can't just reset after anything bad happens. A continuing theme is going to be more weight to decisions you make. You might be thinking, data entries? Lame. First of all, rude. And second of all, these are fun, dude. First of all, remember those quality of life improvements I was talking about? They will mainly be expressed in making the Pokemon's interactions with the world around you be as lively as possible. This is where the first way, making the hunt for Pokemon as fun as possible, comes into effect. Pokemon would have interesting phenomena that you could observe if you remained hidden. This would be shown through a unique animation, like a Heracross and Pinsir fighting, or a Luxray hunting for prey with their special eyes. If you didn't hide correctly, the punishment could be as light as the Pokemon stopping the action and leaving, not giving you the entry, or them attacking you in a grumpy rage. That's a deep cut for my Kanto homies. What up, 471? No? Alright. See, now we can finally use all this lore we've been giving the Pokemon for the past 25 years and just been ignoring. Did you know Drifloon tugs on little kids' hands to bring them to the afterlife? And Magcargo's hotter than the surface of the sun? It would have been real if he was here. Shut up! I'm tired of hearing about it, just put it in the game! Anyway, if you did it successfully, you would see a sketch of what you just observed on screen, along with the Pokedex entry you just wrote. The Pokemon themselves are long gone though, so you can't catch them as well. So now you have to choose, are you going to catch the Pokemon or progress in the game by adding a data entry? This isn't the only way hunting for Pokemon is made more interesting in this game. Remember Pokemon Swarms? That's a deep cut for my Johto homies. What up, 773? I mean, not really. They were in every game until Gen 5, right until Game Freak realized they didn't have to try to make people buy their games. That's not an entirely fair dig, but I'm leaving it in. What was I saying? Oh yeah, Swarms. For you newbies out there, this is when a bunch of Pokemon would appear at once, and you would be notified by an NPC that a bunch of rare Pokemon were appearing in an area. These would make their triumphant return in this game, functioning literally the exact same. Except now the idea of a swarm could be represented in the overworld, in 3D. They could feel like pests, like a swarm of Yanma, or it could be a very cute swarm, like a bunch of Meryl. The key would be the hints of realism in the swarm. Let's take the Yama one. You could hear the buzzing of their wings, and they should be performing their actions, happy and sad, some moving around, some perched. We're trying to avoid a let's go catch combo kind of feeling, where the Pokemon are just kind of milling around. It's not just limited to swarms, you can also have herds of Pokemon. These are a little bit more chill than swarms, where a bunch of Pokemon are moving together in a direction, and pre-evolved versions of the Pokemon are coming along with them. Imagine a herd of Donphan rolling through a valley, with little Phanpy rolling clumsily along behind them. Hoppip, Skiploom, and Jumpluff floating gently along a breeze. Bro, why do we even live in this world? I mean, we're not done appropriating Gen 2 features. I'm sorry, I couldn't get through it. We're not done remixing Gen 2 features with swarms. Time itself was introduced in Generation 2, and being a new feature in those games, they did a lot to differentiate between day and night, with different Pokemon appearing, and with days of the week, special events happening on certain days. In this game, there would be an accelerated day-night cycle. In every mainline Pokemon game up until now, time has been analog to time in real life. I would say this style of game was appropriate back when your Game Boy was the only source of quality entertainment and you could fashion your whole life around when Lapras was going to show up, but now things have changed. A faster day-night cycle would allow for more events to take place that are themed around the time of day, instead of having to wait 12 real-life hours just for the chance to catch a Hoot-Hoot. I'm not even saying days and nights should pass lightning quick. If you want, you can have a day last an hour. This makes days and nights still have wait when they come, instead of a wait 5 minutes sort of situation. Time can play an important part in how you collect your data entries. For example, there could be a night where the moon is shining particularly brightly, and you see Cleffa and Clefairy running towards Mount Coronet. If you choose to investigate, on a cliff top you'll find Cleffa and Clefairy dancing around in a circle, with the rare Clefable being able to be encountered and caught. Meteor could be falling from the sky, Solrock, Lunatone, whatever celestial Pokemon you want. This is how you make memories in the player. This is the first non-linear Pokemon game. Let's take some advantage of that. Speaking of non-linear, this next feature really ties the whole game together. I'm talking about some real side quests. The ultimate goal of the game is probably going to be to get a data entry or catch Arceus, but before all that, helping out Pokemon and people that you meet is a lot of what you do. No, it's not like Pokemon has never done side quests before, but they're not exactly what I want. Not little baby side quests where you carry some mail. Oh, I'm going to Saffron City with the mail that my Sparrow gave me. These are going to be the most similar to Alola side quests, with many more, and a menu to keep track of them. You can find them anywhere in the region, and they can help you get data entries or find interesting Pokemon or swarms. They can also involve you using one of their Pokemon to perform a task in the world, like using their Lillipup to help herd them a reap or whatever. And if you bond enough with the Pokemon, they might give it to you as a gift. It feels like all the gift Pokemon we get is just like some random guy sitting somewhere. Hey, do you want this egg? I'm kind of sleepy right now. Can you take care of it? No, I do not want to take care of your damn egg. Keep it yourself. It'd be much cooler if I had to work to get it. Maybe there's a monster eating all the food in the village and you find out it's a Munchlax and you catch it. That's your reward, done. Maybe there's a swarm of Vibrava that's ruining all their crops and you beat them all in the Pokemon battle, you come back, the guy's like, hey, I have a Trapinch, I'm kind of traumatized at this point, do you want it? Side quests bridge a lot of this game's mechanics together, including unique encounter events. These events are intended to give you a great bond with your Pokemon right off the bat, allowing you to get closer with your Pokemon than possible in any previous game. Here's an example. You're given a side quest to stop fires caused by a rampant drought in the area, and are given a Squirtle to help stop them. You rush to put out each of the fires started, with Squirtle helping you along the way. The last fire is at a barn, and as the last fire is about to be put out, debris falls from the ceiling and is about to fall on Squirtle. You have about 5 seconds to react, rolling to pick up the Squirtle before it gets hurt. However, this isn't the only outcome that can happen. Squirtle can get hurt by the rafter, or you can roll too late and get hurt yourself, resulting in a game over. If it's done properly though, the Squirtle will be ecstatic and ask you to join your team, once you get out of the burning barn obviously. This makes an actually cool gift Pokemon that not literally everyone will have. You have to both find a side quest and actually save the Squirtle. Remember, the game autosaves, you can't just reset. Not only do you just naturally feel cool about doing this, but you also get Bond for doing it. What's Bond, you ask, forgetting the meaning of the word? I'm glad you ask, I say, talking in the third person. Bond isn't just a word in this game, it's a new system that replaces both natures and IVs. Now I know what you're thinking. But it's okay, it'll be okay. Natures and IVs, though they're long-standing, go against the major tenets of the series. Loving your Pokemon conquers all. Every badge are telling you, oh my god, you must love your Pokemon so much, that's how you won, right? Meanwhile, you can beat your Pokemon's ass every day, the game doesn't care, you can still win. This is a weird semi-spin-off Legends, why not try something new? So let's think about natures critically for a little bit. I recently started Pokemon XD, and I had an Eevee at the beginning, and it started by the animate nature. You know what I did? I reset the game 12 times and watched the game's opening cutscene 12 times, just because I didn't want an animate nature. It's not like Ash went into the grass, catches a Caterpie. I love you, Caterpie! Oh, this thing is an animate. Are you kidding me, dude? I need a modest, jolly, something, man. I just need at least speed boosting. The thing about natures and IVs is that it makes some Pokemon objectively worse. A modest Machop is literally objectively worse than an animate one. It makes the Pokemon just lumps of data that you can discard whenever you want. This system would attempt to make loving your Pokemon actually valuable in the game, not a stat to grind out. Don't worry, the original system is still going to live on in Brilliant Diamond and Spatial Pearl. I mean Shiny Pearl. God, those games are so dumb. Now I don't want to pretend like Pokemon hasn't tried to incorporate a love system into the game before with Pokemon Refresh. But that system felt a little cheap, allowing Pokemon to dodge attacks and live through status conditions. So to balance this kind of stat will be largely unnecessary to succeed in the game, but it does give you benefits that a good amount of people would want. Some of the highlights are allowing Pokemon to follow you in the overworld, and the smaller Pokemon starting to ride on your shoulder or head, Let's Go style at max bond. Some larger Pokemon will instead allow you to ride them at max bond. Smaller flying Pokemon can bring your data entries back to Professor Treverson, instead of you having to bring them back yourself. It takes a while for them to come back though, and they can only carry a couple. It also allows you to summon a bonded Pokemon wherever you are with the whistle. This would be helpful for the occasions where a Pokemon's ability would be helpful to you when you're out in the field. I would assume in this game the PC is just a big farm behind the professor's house, so it's probably easier for the Pokemon to reach you. Oh yeah, the reason Pokemon's abilities would help you out in the field is because Pokeride's coming back in a modified way. This style of Pokeride only works normally if the Pokemon you need's in your party. A lot of the areas you can access with this are optional. Being able to use some of your own Pokemon for this allows them to show off some of their unique animation, like your Luxray using its eye saliva gave instead of an Umbreon using its rings. You can pet your Pokemon once every in-game day to improve your bond, but it can't be maxed out with this alone, and it only raises a small amount. The main way you increase your bond though is through risk events. Remember that Squirtle thing? That was a kind of risk event, it's just that it happened at the top of your journey with this Pokemon and not in the middle. Risk events are things that randomly happen, and are pretty rare, but they involve a risk to either you or your Pokemon. That risk could just be an investment of your time, or it can end up being your health. You may need to throw yourself in harm's way for your Pokemon's sake, and this isn't just a harmless gesture. You can lose your data entries by doing this, so you actually have to want to do it badly enough. Here's an example of a risk event that doesn't have to do with immediate danger. Throwing it back to that brightly moonlit night, let's say you already had a Clefairy in your party. It might prompt you with a sad expression, and then stare into the starry sky. A text box pops up with the text, Clefairy is gazing longingly at the night sky. Do you want to let it go on its way? This will release Clefairy from your party. If it's done, there's a chance Clefairy just leaves your party and never comes back. But there's also a chance it'll come back down from the sky the next night, with a text box that says, Clefairy missed you, it doesn't ever want to leave again. Then it could evolve into Clefable without even the use of a stone, because it did just go to the moon after all. Again, I want to stress that these are unique experiences that not every player has. So many things had to line up just for that to happen. You had to have a Clefairy, the brightly moonlit night event had to happen to you, and Clefairy had to want to leave at the event, and it had to want to come back down. Bond could increase the chance that your Clefairy comes back, but it's not by a ton. Those are all separate dice rolls with no guarantee on any of it. I would take this over Red Gyarados any day. This release type of risk event could happen to more Pokemon than just Clefairy, but it's just an example. So here's an example of a risk event that does put a Pokemon in harm's way. So you're headed towards what would be the peaks of Snow Point, and you hear Articuno's cry coming from the top. Sparkles are coming down from the top of the mountain, you're like, this is Articuno. But the closer you get to the mountains, the more your Charizard prompts you, alerting you of its discomfort. This blizzard might be too much for its tail flame to take. It's up to the player to decide whether to head towards the peaks undeterred or to head back to tend to Charizard. This is not a fake choice. This is not a Nugget Bridge where it's like, do you want to join Team Rocket? Yes, I could. No, I see something in your eyes and you're lying to me. Oh my god, that stuff sucks. Both of them are valid choices and they lead to different events. It's possible if you go up the cliff, you actually do find Articuno and you fight it, but Charizard is deathly ill for a long time. It's possible you go up the cliffs and it was just a Snover that's pretty good at impressions and your Charizard is ill. It's possible you go up and your Charizard actually gets over it. You can go and tend to Charizard and come back and Articuno could be gone or it could stay. Non-linear gameplay, man. This is what it is. Do you notice how easy it is to use Pokemon lore if you just think a little bit? This is what will be used for a majority of the risk events, and if they really couldn't think of anything, they can always use their personality. That's the other system in this game that goes hand in hand with Bond, personality. Instead of giving a Pokemon a boost to their stats, it gives them a personality. Instead of, for example, a rash nature coming through in their stats and nothing else, these Pokemon have personalities that'll come through in their actions in the game. There doesn't need to be many of these, and not every Pokemon needs to have one. Something important about them is that you can't read it on a menu and it doesn't develop for a while. Less data lump, more animal. You don't just check it and discard it if you don't want it. I mean, you can if you really want to, but that kind of makes you a Damien, doesn't it? Here's just 4 personalities I thought of. Easygoing, battle hungry, weak, or difficult. Battle hungry Pokemon can pop out of their Pokeballs if a strong Pokemon is nearby, or put your cursor over their strongest move automatically when fighting an opponent. Easygoing Pokemon could be the ones that just land on your person even with a lower bond and have a chance of sleeping in their ball, so when you throw them out it's not exceptionally helpful. Difficult Pokemon could be Pokemon like legendaries and even some normal ones, but it would be pretty rare. These Pokemon might not listen to commands sometimes, and it might be a little bit colder to you, but if their bond is maxed, they could become loyal companions. Something like Rockruff close to evolution has a higher chance of being difficult, but for a Sinnoh native, how about Glameow, or even Riolu? Now we can actually see that Rockruff is becoming disobedient close to evolution and not just hear about it. You could have weakly constituted Pokemon that are more likely to get poisoned, but if nurtured, will run or fly faster if ridden, and will have more stamina. Pokemon like Cubchoo and Wimpod could be more likely to have this attribute. For an example of how a Pokemon's personality could play into a risk event, a battle-hungry Pokemon could lose a match and get angry, then express their desire to train. This takes a whole in-game day, but at the end your Pokemon might get pleased, or evolve, or learn a new move. An easygoing Pokemon might have a craving for a rare berry, and if you choose to go find it, it might be extremely pleased with you. A weak Pokemon might be more likely to fall ill, which isn't as easy to deal with as a quick trip to the Pokemon Center in the 1800s. It probably takes more time to heal Pokemon in general, now that I think about it. Again, you might have to attend to it all day, doing several unique tasks, like getting water from the river, getting berries, making it food, etc. Another thing that can increase your bond is a new style of evolution, which can now happen mid-battle. This would just involve your Pokemon's XP going up slowly throughout a battle, with the chance to evolve when close to fainting as a last-ditch effort. This could happen even if it's not at the proper level, which kinda makes it more cool. This is more likely if your Pokemon and you have a high bond. If a Pokemon is going through a tough battle with a bunch of back and forth, there's a higher chance of it evolving to win the battle at low health, and this functions as a risk event. Something else that I decided just now is that some Pokemon don't want to evolve, and if you say that it's okay that they don't want to evolve, their base stats will improve at the appropriate levels, but they won't evolve, and your bond will increase. Something else that needs to appear in the overworld is the Pokemon's shininess. This is the only thing they actually have a good chance of doing, but they didn't do it in Sword and Shield, so... This little touch makes it so much cooler to spot a shiny Pokemon. There's not a ton of shiny hunting in this game, but herds and swarms have 2 times the chance of showing you a shiny. My final point at the end of all this is that the game actually has to look good for any of this to have a real effect. The Pokemon can't be vibrating like a replied or even a semi-popular tweet, but should be moving at a smooth frame rate. No washed-out saturations, Pokemon isn't a big fish in a small pond anymore. It can't get away from looking good for what it is. At the end of the day, do I expect even 1% of this to happen? Okay, maybe 1%, right? Like a little? Yeah, I'm still maybe on that. See you guys in the next video, and hope you enjoyed the Pokemon Presents. Did anything come true? Please tell me something came true.